Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Confronting Our Thoughts. It has been a minute, but the three of us have a lot to reflect on. We spent some time together. The Zach and Luke and a couple of other friends came up to Seattle, so we wanted just to hop on here real quick this Labor Day morning, well, morning for me, afternoon for them, and just talk about a little bit about how the trip went, reflect on it, what it meant to see each other, and kind of tie all of that into maybe like how this podcast has benefited our experiences together as a friendship. And yeah, go from there. So we'll start off with Zach. Just like quick question, Zach, when you think back to that trip just a couple weeks ago, what's like one thing that stands out that you took away from it?
Um, I think just staying in touch through all the years and just kind of getting back together with everyone is just it was it was awesome to get together, especially like all of us. I don't know the last time we were all together, um, speaking from the people that we went to high school with. So we kept like this friend group together. So I think just like the ability of us and the like kudos to us to for staying together and staying in contact. So I think getting together for that trip was just like a testament to our friendship and how much we do care about each other, and for us to take time out of our schedules because we're all like in different kind of parts of the country. So I think just that, just getting together just stands out in the relationships that we continue to grow and the ones that we just still have.
Yeah, Luke, you got anything to add?
No, I'm right there with Zach. Like, very kudos to us putting in the time, putting the work, just to be able to have the time and the not necessarily money, but just like to go and do and have that experience. And we were all on that same just vibration, just there, just for a good time, just to enjoy time with each other. We didn't really care what we were doing as long as we were doing it together. I was just very grateful. I was just very blessed.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better. I think it's just important, the take home message from, what we were just talking about is that if you feel that people are meant to be in your life, really give that effort day in and day out. It sounds like a grind, but like really just check in with each other. If you feel like it's meant to put that energy and effort into that person and into that friendship, and then in turn you will get, and like it sounds weird, but you'll get an ROI on that event. Like you get an ROI, right? And our ROI was like a great, week together in Seattle, spending time together. And so not that that's the reason you do it, but that's okay to kind of have that in the back of your mind, like, hey, I want to check in with this person, one, because I care and I love them, but also like I want to be able to spend experience or spend, some time in my life in the future with them. Obviously, hopefully in person one day. But yeah, I think like Zach said, like I don't know the last time we were all together like that in one place, in one geographical location on Earth. And it felt really, really good. My biggest takeaway was just how right it felt, how normal it felt, how organic it felt, however, whatever word you want to use, which felt really, really good and refreshing. Especially, I'm sure we can all relate. Like, these past, gosh, I don't know, 5, 6 years of our lives, we've been constantly put into new environments with new people, and you kind of have to kind of figure out your way into a circle, or maybe you never find your way into a circle and you kind of just have to really do small talk with people. It can be very exhausting. That's like the way life works. And that's how you learn about yourself, what you do like, what you don't like. But man, was it refreshing to be around a group of guys and gals um, that you truly feel like you can kind of be yourself and they appreciate you and you appreciate them, and it's carefree. Yeah, really, really all the above. So,
Yeah.
yeah, another question. What kind of advice would you guys give? And I'll start with Lou. What kind of advice would you guys give to people in our situation? Maybe people who just graduate in high school or maybe in college. Like it's just the same thing, but who are still trying to keep in touch with their high school friends. And I hate to say high school friends, just their friends that they grew up with, right? They spent the majority of their lives together. Um, in a small community like we did, what kind of advice would you give them to maybe hopefully one day be in a situation when you're in your mid-20s and you guys can still be, still be connected with each other?
I would definitely say, man, just you keep learning and you're gonna go through those highs and lows. And if you just have that little sense of gratitude and just to keep reaching out to like all your friends, just it doesn't have to be every day like we always talk about, like just that little text message, maybe once every so often, like it just goes a long way. So yeah.
Zach, you got anything?
Yeah, yeah. Just kind of, I think our situation is very unique because a lot of people, for people that they grew up with, don't have. We have like four, five, six people that were
Mm.
still like really like a close knit group of people, and some might have like two max to talk to if they like moved away from their hometown or wherever they grew up. So I think our situation is very unique. But with that being said, you can't force it. So if the energy and the vibes are, if you guys are on the same page and you want to stay in each other's lives, and I think you'll kind of pick up on that and you'll know it. So like then you like send a text here and there and just try to do your part to keep in touch because sometime down the road you might need them or they might need you. So being there for each other, and then if you continue that relationship, then maybe you guys can have like a little trip like we did and get together every so often because that's what it's all about, building building and keeping relationships because you need to have a good support system and people you surround yourself with to like keep going in this life.
Yeah, 100%. I think you guys both said great things. It's kind of in big pictures, like be patient with the friendship as well, right? Like, it's okay if if your really good friend, goes off to college and maybe just becomes kind of like very distant from you, becomes maybe a different person because it's a very stimulating environment and a lot of people can change very fast, in a way that you probably never would have thought they would have changed that way. And just like what kind of Luke said, through the highs and the lows, and that can also be of your friendship, right? Like your friendship can go through some it's a living thing just like anything else in our life, like it's going to go, there's going to be good times of it and there's going to be bad times, but keeping the big picture in mind, it's like having a close friend in your life is so valuable, so you don't have to go through this journey alone. And like that's the most important part. So keep watering it, keep giving it the nutrition that it needs to grow. But sometimes you have a drought, in life. Sometimes there's a dry season, sometimes it floods, like, and friendships are really no different, but you just got to kind of keep your head down and just keep going throughout your friendship if you truly feel that it's worth it, right? Like really ask yourself and talk to other people in your life, your family, whoever you could trust, and be like, hey, you know, my once close friend right now, he's acting or she's acting in this type of way. It hurts me, but at the end of the day, do you feel like it's still worth my time? And that's obviously a decision you make yourself, but it's okay to get input from other people. But just understand, just like Luke said and Zach, like there's going to be ebbs and flows of your friendship and of relationships in your life, and just to keep going, keep watering it, and to keep the big picture in mind of being able to go through life together. Do you guys have
I
anything
just
else
want to,
yeah, no,
yeah, I
go
just
on.
want to kind of caveat off that, like, dude, that and just being as real as you possibly can, just be authentic to yourself, to your friends, reaching out and just uh expressing those emotions of actually how you feel about like the friendship, or if you are alone, just I promise you, like, people will take care of you at the end of the day.
Yeah,
If they're your true friends, absolutely.
100%, 100%. Um, yeah, do you guys have anything else to add before we move on to kind of talking about the end of the summer and moving on to this next, I guess in America, there's phases of the year. I don't know why I'm saying America. We can only talk with America, but there are like phases of your year. And we're definitely kind of ending one phase, my favorite phase of the year, and then transitioning into my second favorite phase of the year, which is the fall. But do you guys have any? So before we get into that, do you guys have anything else to add about the friendship Seattle? Um,
I just keep telling, like, I told my family, I told my friends, like, back here, I was just like, that Seattle trip was one of my favorite memories. And like the last month, I've just been super grateful for, like, all the experiences, Penn State football game this weekend, and our time in Seattle. It's just been a great time, and I'm just super grateful for it, and I'm super grateful for you guys.
Yeah, I would agree. I was looking forward to that trip for a long time. I mean, we all were. So, I think it went better than expected, even though I didn't expect it to be bad. It just went. It was great, just all around vibes. So, do really appreciate you guys and getting together. It was a good way to, I guess, end the summer. Technically, kind of like a trip
That's
to end the summer.
absolutely, man. I can't wipe this smile off my face just like thinking about that. Just the times we had, man. It's just, and I know we're just connected and we're just the same energy, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, and I think that really can give us some confidence that like, hey, we can, we can kind of we can do this really anywhere in the in the country, in the world. Like it's pretty. I don't know. We're all very easygoing guys and people, so it's with that comes a way to like easily get together and do something. So that's my like biggest takeaway from everything that we just said. I just love that idea that like, okay, we kind of did a little bit of a trial run, if that's, or like our first I don't know, preseason game of traveling. And so now we're like, hey, we can get into like, hey, we can do this multiple times a year or throughout our lives. Obviously easier said than done, but as long as we just keep watering our friendships, then I will forever be looking forward to a trip where we can all be together again. So that was really nice. But yeah, Zach, moving into the end of the summer, what was your biggest, if you learned one thing, we can get maybe a little more into internal or spiritual side of this conversation. What's the biggest thing you learned throughout this summer? I feel like a summer is a very can be very busy, very sporadic, but also very fun, and maybe you can learn a lot throughout your summer. So what's something, the biggest thing that you learned? I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but
I guess, I mean, we preach it all the time, but like living in the moment. So appreciating the here and now. Because I mean, my first few months of summer, so June and July, I had classes, so I wasn't really doing too much. And then August was like my summer because I didn't have any schoolwork or anything to worry about. So going on the trip and stuff like that. But just yeah, appreciating the moment, because I mean it's gone before you know it. So I got to see you guys, and I got to see my family back home, and it was just all those things, just the relationships still being intact. So it was just appreciating all those things, big or small, just spending it with the people that I want to, and doing things that with someone else to share that. So just like appreciating the here and now.
yeah, Luke, you got anything?
Yeah,
Same
I love
question to
that,
you.
man. Like, just I was super busy, like Zach said, in the first couple months. Like, I spent some time away with the military, so yeah, really just enjoying the moment with, especially with my family. I didn't get to see them as much as I wanted to, like this summer, and yeah, I was just super grateful and just really try to enjoy the moment and try to just kind of push that, well, keep working on all the things that you got to keep working on, and because man, this life does not slow down, and the older we get, it just feels like the busier we get. So try to enjoy those little moments. It's just huge. Yeah.
Yeah, no, summer, this summer taught me really how important it is to still kind of stay disciplined through enjoying the moments, enjoying the fruits that summer does bring you. Is in this part of our lives, I feel like uh obviously we don't have necessarily, I guess we still do have like a summer break, but I don't have to like have a summer break. But in this area of the country, like this is where you're staying up later, you're doing way more things throughout the day. But with that, how important it was to like make sure I was taking time out for my friends and my relationships, my own health. Like definitely in the past I would have let just kind of summer take me and just completely engulfed myself into that summer vibe, like of drinking long nights, early mornings kind of things, while like anyway. So I'm proud of myself for doing that this summer. I kind of still stayed grounded to like who I am. That sounds bad, but like just who I still like, the habits I still want to participate in daily. So that felt good. But
Yeah, I
yeah, I
think it's
mean,
like the balance. We always talk about, you were in Seattle, getting up in the morning, still going for a walk or something, and we would still get we'd get silly in the nighttime or whatever. But like we were still like doing like things for our health, getting outside in nature, just like walking a lot and just, you know, enjoying stuff. So it's like a balance. I think we all like did that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where I think that it takes our friendship kind of to the next level, our relationship to the next level, is that we value the same things. I don't know if we're necessarily as close as we are. If well, obviously we probably aren't hopping on this podcast, at least once or twice a month if we don't care about our mental health, or and we don't relate necessarily as much as we don't if only one person, values working out and the rest don't, or vice versa. So yeah, all these things, it's what makes it really just, those are things you can't really you can't really coach or something, you can't really buy when it comes to a friendship, right? It's just like either the person values it or it doesn't. And for us, it feels really, really good to have that already instilled into us. And we talk about this a ton we talk about that a ton on this podcast, growing up and how important that was. But just a testimony to it again, we were all together. We were still, we got a Luke, before we actually moved to Seattle, we all got to work out here. And then we went on a walk, and then we made sure to always be walking around. We hiked, twice, we were only, just being active. We still understand how good that feels for us and how important it is for like who we are as a person. So yeah,
Absolutely, man. And we say it all the time, just trying to be that athlete, that athletic person. But yeah, I tell my friends like all the time, like, dude, I feel like we're 23 and we're kind of like that weird stage of like, okay, how are we trying to build our life? What do we want it to look like? And I tell them all the time, I can't wait to just get older and just experience like all these new memories, because like I just feel like we're all just getting better. Just finding that workflow balance, work hard, play hard.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think, yeah, that's huge. I don't remember what I was getting at with that. I think you worded it perfectly, but yeah, I don't know. I had nothing to add to that. That was really nice. Anything else to any comments ending on the summer? Yeah, I mean, this past August, I saw the closest people in my life besides my family. I saw every single person that I'm closest with in my life, and while living across the country from all of those people. And just a ton of gratitude. Sometimes it's kind of like you feel a little, I don't know, what's the phrase, Zach, what's the phrase when it's like the people, it's like when you reach, I'm not saying this to me, when you reach a certain like level of success, people feel guilty because of it. What do they call that in crap, I'm trying to think, personality. Anyway, what I felt was like almost not like too good to be true, but just felt like, wow, I don't feel like I'm just, like I said, I'm just seeing all these people are traveling to come see me. Obviously I live in an area of the country that it's very attractive during the summer, but it was still, I just felt really, really good and really, really grateful. So I appreciate at the hell out of you too. And then, it's just so important, people at home, and you guys just keep nurturing those relationships, those friendships in your life, because I promise it'll be worth it, not only because you're checking in with someone that you care about, but for moments like this past month, or and for the moments in the future where you'll really be able to come together and just share some great times and memories together. With that, summer's over. Summer's officially over. It is Labor Day. And so I guess I'll start off. For me, what that means is it's a lot more of like the weather really starts to change here. It gets kind of definitely some gloomy. It's the third week of school starting. I get into a little bit of like I don't know, like a little bit of a shell, a little bit of like a hermit, in the sense of like on the weekends I spend a lot of time inside, or like I'm in a coffee shop working on school, or I'm not going out, or outside for, 6-8 hours of the day in the sun. And anyway, with all that being said, it is kind of one extreme to the next. I'm not going to lie. I wish I did a little bit more of like a transition, but I bought balls to the wall from June into August, and come, end of August, early September, it's like, all right, boom, back to the grind. And so, yeah, what kind of changes for you guys? Luke, I'll start with you. I know a lot changes with you, so I'm going to start. What really changes from your day to day? I know this is the third week of school for us, but yeah.
Yeah, I think like I don't know. I like the fall a little bit better. Like we talked about this earlier in the week, Tom. Like, excuse me, but yeah, just getting back into like the school routine, just kind of just falling into doing just really simple things and being able to do them right and
Mm.
consistently, and which is a huge thing. But at the same time, like it's college football season, and it's just the tailgates, the Penn State football. And you know how Penn State is. We like to have fun. So yeah, it's stressful, but like I said, like it's a work hard, play hard. So you got to find that balance somehow, and it's hard to find that balance here in the first couple of weeks. But once you really start getting in the groove, like then it really just starts to fall into place.
Luke, what's something that you've learned from past falls that you know you won't be doing this year? Or what's
That's a tough
maybe
question.
something that you want to learn that you want to learn?
Just being able to really stay in that routine. Like the one thing I'm really teaching myself is, okay, let me just do this for 5 minutes, and then next thing you know, I'm doing it for 20. Next thing you know, I'm doing it for half an hour. And just those little moments that you can just keep yourself going in that routine to keep getting work done. And it's been really effective. It's been really helpful for me getting my work done and just keeping that work and fun balance.
Yeah.
Zach?
I mean, this last week we started school, but I only had class Wednesday because I only have Tuesday and Wednesdays, so I didn't really get the full school yet. But I mean, for me, I do enjoy the fall weather, and I like fall like fashion. So I like to wear like hoodies and like shorts because it's like not too warm, not too cold. So I do like fall
Yeah.
in that sense. But for me, it's just hard to get into the swing of things with school starting and like getting back into the grind because once it does start, it's like everything at once just like comes at you. So
Yeah.
getting into the routine is the hardest part, but I am looking forward to kind of starting that and just my weeks will be busy and then weekends I'm like open so I can if I need to like do other school stuff on the weekends I can do that or if I want to like make a trip somewhere like my weekends are pretty open this semester. So I'm just looking forward to getting everything started and just kind of just in doing something every day that I want to do, not that I have to do. So like school, I kind of like, I mean, I want to do it, but I have to do it. So I just like, whether that's taking a walk or reading, just something that I want to do. I want to do that more this fall. In our one class already, we have like an abstinence project that we have to give up something for 4 weeks and like journal about it. So I gave up Twitter. I already started it like 2 days, like 2 nights ago. So
Yeah.
I gave up or X. I gave up
Yes.
X.
Yeah. Yo, X.
How's that going, man? Because
Yeah,
like
Yeah. Yeah. How's it been?
it's social media, like
Zach's a
it's addicting,
big
man.
Zach's a big Twitter guy.
He loves the
yeah.
memes. He loves
That's
the
where
memes.
I get my memes and stuff from there. But I mean, other than that, I haven't really been missing it, I guess. But that is where I got a lot of my news too. So like I
Yeah,
didn't know who won the
football.
Florida. I didn't know who won Florida State.
Yeah,
Like I
that
don't know that
sucks.
stuff
Yeah.
because I don't have ESPN like notifications because I don't care like that because I would just get it from
I
Twitter.
can't stand their no.
But
Yeah, yeah,
Um, so yeah, I mean, I guess I feel a little just out of the loop in some things, but it's not like a bad thing. So hopefully I can be more productive without like constantly wanting to, if I'm like have some downtime, go on my like phone and like scroll a little bit. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's going good so far. So we'll see.
How's it feel?
Hopefully I
Because like
just put some other,
that thumb, those repetitions with that thumb, man, it's a hard thing to get away from. Like, what have you been doing to replace like the Twitter or X now?
I mean, I definitely found myself going on like Snapchat more, but I don't really have much to do on Snapchat. So
yeah.
I would say I haven't been like yesterday. I didn't charge my phone all day, and when I went to sleep, it was at like 60%.
Mm.
So, I mean, I was not on it that much. So I guess just trying to keep busy and stuff like that. And um, I guess to the end of my summer, I did get a tattoo, but
Fire.
uh,
How's it? New
actually,
doggo?
I adopted a dog. Yeah,
Let's go.
What's up, Zach?
So
Finally found the
wait,
right one.
did you talk finally match made in heaven? Wait, Zach, did
Yeah.
you talk about your process of getting the oh, he's a good boy.
His name is Blue, so we got him a blue collar, and we just kept his name Blue. But he's like 10 months old.
Blue, yeah.
That's a big dog for 10 months. Oh my gosh.
Wait, yeah,
He's like 45 pounds. He's like a
yeah.
pit mix with
Okay.
something, but we just fully adopted him. Would have been 2 days ago, Saturday. We fostered him for like a week almost, and then kind of decided that well, it is my dog, but like obviously I live with Madeline and she has her dog Beans, and we kind of decided that the things that he has like problems with aren't that big to not adopt him because he just needs like potty trained a little bit more. And I mean, other than that, that's pretty much it. He just like really is obsessed with Beans too, but not in an aggressive way. So I guess that's like looking on the bright side. He just like always wants to sniff him and stuff. Sometimes it gets like too much for Beans, but other than that, I mean, he's like a really good dog. So we just decided instead of like looking for like something that's maybe a little bit better, like this one checks a lot of the boxes. So we just kind of decided like, let's just do it. So
I love it. I love it.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Good for you
Yeah,
guys, man.
I got hardcore puppy fever. That's awesome though. Yeah, did you talk about the process that you were going through, Zach, with the like, fostering and then seeing if you're going to adopt on the podcast or no?
I mean, a little bit. I think a few episodes ago, I just kind of said that I was like looking for one, and I think I was for the past almost 3 months. We fostered one for like a week and a half, and then another one for like well, no, the first one was like 5 days, and the second one was like right away, and then we took a break because we were going to Seattle and stuff like that, so we weren't going to be here. And then when we got back, it was a few more days, and we were kind of settling in. And the guy at the place, the shelter, said that he had like this dog he thinks that would be really good for us. So we just went down and like did a visit, and we liked him. So then we set up a meet and greet with Beans, and then it went well. So then we fostered him, see how it would go in the house and stuff like that. And it went like, I mean, compared to the other two we had, it went really well. So, and I've been wanting a dog for a long time, and I feel like now I'm like been living on my own, so to say, for over a year. So I feel like now is like a pretty good time, and I didn't want to keep pushing it back. Like, I don't think there's like a right or wrong time because I'm always going to be busy. So I just have to kind of like make it work if I want to make it work. So whether that's finding someone to watch them when I want to go somewhere, or if I can maybe take them with me and stuff like that. So I think it'll be good for me. It'll be good for Beans and just all parties involved. I think it'll be really really good.
How important
Yeah.
was it having like that connection with like the guy that fosters these dogs? And he's like, this is a good
I
one
mean,
for.
honestly, like they just really like us down there because the first dog we actually fostered was like their worst dog, and we didn't even know it. But she was like a handful, I guess, and we like didn't do that bad. So they were like, "Huh, these guys are pretty good at like fostering." So then they were just like, "Well, like if you want to just keep fostering, we'll just hand you some dogs." And we're like, "Yeah, that sounds like all right," because we're just kind of like we're looking, but when you foster, you're not necessarily attached to anything. Like you didn't really sign anything that's like 100%. So you could take them back if you want. So that's kind of what we were doing. And then when we went that one day to look, there were people in front of us, and we got to skip the line because like someone was like, "Are you guys being waited on?" Because like we're there all the time, they all know us, so we kind of got to skip the line. And then yeah, so we have like a personal connection there, so which is actually really helpful because so I mean you just look on the website, and if you like how one looks, then you might go meet it. But when you have like the actual person there who spends time with the dogs and like knows who our current dog is, so it was just really helpful to have him like there's some recommended dogs that if you want to look at. So that was just really helpful for us.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
that's an awesome tool that's out there. And I'm sure I mean, that idea is definitely everywhere in the country, not in just Virginia where you guys are at. So um yeah, I feel like that's huge too, because so many people just kind of go blindly into fostering a dog. And like you said, or I'm sorry, not even fostering, getting a dog. But like you said, if it's important to you, you'll make time, and that you'll make time for it. And that's everything in life. I feel like because there's always ways to save a couple minutes. Like if you're that busy, like there's always ways to save a couple minutes here, but a couple minutes here. But the majority of people's days are like, hey, you could save a couple hours here and a couple hours there to put time towards a dog or, you know, your health or whatever it may be, cleaning your room, doing whatever it may be. So yeah, that was a great point, Zach. I feel like if it's important to you, you're going to make time for it. And so, yeah, we'll just getting back to what Zach said about the whole like phone use and stuff. I've become a big do not disturb setting guy. And not that I'm on my phone less when it's do not disturb, but it's almost like I get to choose when I want to look at my phone. And I don't know if I talked about this before, but I have like a watch. So like it'll buzz me when I get a notification. And so I'm like constantly like looking at my watch. And then if it's an important notification, I'll look at my phone. And I'm like, man, I kind of just, I don't even know if I heard this somewhere, but it's like you kind of change like, okay, now you have, you know, the autonomy to look at your phone when you want to look at your phone rather than the phone or the notification deciding when you get to look at it. So that helped me a little bit, kind of just think more clearly and rather than constantly like if I'm on, oops, wow, if I'm on like, you know, a train of thought, if I'm in flow working on school or talking with someone or working out, that doesn't get interrupted by, and the 99% of the notifications we get throughout the day are very, very, very useless. And the 1% are, or I guess we'll say 0.9 of the 1% are also not urgent. And then maybe the 0.1% of our notifications are urgent throughout the day. Or so yeah, with all that being said, it feels really good. But man, I love how, I mean, our generation, I feel like is really, really aware of phone time use. Or did I say that word? Yeah, phone use time or whatever I'm trying to say there, which I think is a, you know, trend, which I think, you know, it's obviously like a phone term, but trending in the right direction. I think people are really, really getting aware of that and understanding how much of their lives, and not of their actual life, but their mental capacity is put towards mindless scrolling, whatever it may be. Yeah, I really, it's exciting. I'm trying to be on that trend as well, and it feels really, really good to be a part of something. I feel like the more we learn about mental health and our how our brain works, along with maybe the side effects of phone use and social media, as those two are moving up and we're learning more and more and more, I think it's really going to be our duty and our responsibility as a generation to kind of, you know, understand that grasp and then do what it is that we feel is right. And I think phone use and these little things, deleting apps for a period of time, like Zach is, you know, putting your phone on do not disturb for 4 or 5 hours of the middle of your day when you want to be the most productive and you want to be the most focused. Or, you know, FaceTiming your friends instead of texting them, because that's way more of an effective way to communicate and you can actually hear the tone, and rather than texting throughout 10 hours of the day, every 30 minutes, you know what I mean? It's like, hey, 45 minutes of a phone call. That's really what I found to be really valuable. And what I've liked, you know, because after that phone call, it's like, okay, boom, I've like caught up with them. You know, I don't need to go on with the text. I don't need to read the text and then type it out. It's like, boom, boom. So just little things. And I think as we're getting into quote, like our busy season, which I hate putting it that way, but you know, in our more of our kind of grind season of, you know, work, school, less outdoor activities because the weather's changing a little bit. And then I think these are really important for us to keep aware of. And I want to talk about this more. We can do maybe like a little series, a little like productivity series moving forward of like us trying different hacks throughout the weeks of what works. Like Zach's, you know, can, you know, kind of check in with us weekly about how his, you know, Twitter time or, you know, lack of Twitter app now is making him feel more productive or less productive. And how Luke's balancing the life of being, you know, a student, you know, a season ticket holder for Penn State football while getting an engineering degree, you know what I mean? And like, and also like I can, you know, kind of give my input of like, you know, balancing the military with also like being an online student, and just I think I want us to be more aware of what we do. So therefore we can share those like little hacks here and there, you know, lack of better terms, and also be like, hey, I'm struggling with this, and talk about it within us and see how we can do moving forward. So, yeah.
Yeah, dude, I just want to kind of go back to that thing, like coming back to the our generation realizing our phone usage time. Another aspect of that is like the world is moving into just like there's all this data out there, and like how can we optimize it? How can I learn what I want to learn? How can I see what I want to see, and like make me feel just a little bit better inside, just because of the data I'm receiving through my phone or through you guys or whatever. But yeah, I just want to say that.
Yeah, when I was on before I stopped Twitter, I saw Matthew Stafford. I don't know if you guys saw it when he was talking about like not being able to connect with all these younger guys that are on the Rams now. And he's like in between meetings, they're just like they're just like on their phones. He just doesn't even know like should he take their phones? Should he be the dad? Like and he doesn't even know how to even talk to people that are in like the locker room to build that connection because they're like young and they just go on their phones when they get a chance. So it's definitely something that is very prevalent. And I think like Tom hit it on the head. Like we know about the problems. And if you think about it, when you have the, well, I don't know, I haven't been on Instagram in a while, but they have like Instagram Reels, I think. And then like there's YouTube Shorts, TikTok. Those like little 6-second videos like do more harm than good. Like your focus, you can't focus for more than that. If you're just constantly watching those, your focus is, you're like basically just like dwindling your focus down the more you do that.
But I'm so
I
glad you said that. Like I didn't even think about that, and that is just massive. Yeah.
I felt that, Zach, you're so right. I felt that there's like I go through a little bit of like a mental block or like mental hurdle when I first get into school, and like reading something that I'm not necessarily like, I try to like read as much as I can, but those are things I'm really, really interested in. Sometimes in school, you're reading a lecture about something that, not that I'm saying it shouldn't be so out of your interest, right? Maybe you need to kind of reevaluate your major, but there's things that's like kind of dry is what I'm trying to get at. And these first couple of weeks, I can feel myself, my focus when I'm reading something that's pretty dry is very, very short. And it, like now this is week 3, so it's slowly getting better. But I know like that's because of, if I don't go on like those shorts or stuff like that, but I even have like short YouTube videos that last 10, 15 minutes I like to watch. Like 10 and 15 minutes is not a long time for you to give your full mental, if I'm reading an article like that, it can take me 20 to 25 minutes of something that might not necessarily be the most interesting thing, but my brain's so conditioned to 6 to 15 minutes of a vlog here and there, or a podcast clip or whatever it may be. And the problem is that people are like, oh, but your content can be filled with what you feel is valuable information. That's absolutely true. But the rate that that's coming at you is not beneficial for your brain, right? Like a minute clip about productivity. What I'm trying to get at is, and obviously, Zach, this is more year round, but like, I don't think that goes into our long-term storage as much as we might think it is, right? It's just like a minute, boom, okay, on to the next minute, boom, on to the next minute, boom, on to the next minute. Those could be, each clips could be about relationships, health, food, diet. It could be, objectively like great things that you should be looking at. But when it's coming at this 3-round burst basically of information, we aren't, our brains are not wired that way to really grasp that and understand those concepts. So
Yeah, there's no
Absolutely.
process.
Say again, what's that, Zach?
There's no process. Like you watch the
Mm.
video, the 1 minute video, you don't even sit with it. You're just going to watch another one. But I mean, it'd be different if you're watching something and then maybe writing notes and then seeing how that can play into your life. Like, but if you're just constantly watching like back to back, you're not even sitting with it or reflecting on it or seeing if you do some of the things that you're even like listening to.
Absolutely, dude. And it's a massive stressor too, because you're just absorbing all this data. It's just like, oh, I want to implement this into my life. I think this will make my life just a little bit better this way. And like you said, like you're just not fully absorbing all that information. And it does overload your brain. And sometimes it just leads to like not thinking clearly, especially for me. Like I'm like, oh wow, I want to do all these things. And now I'm just like not thinking as clearly because I have all these like tabs open in my head. I'm like, where do I go with all this information?
Yeah, I think so many people, and talking to myself here, would benefit from really, really simplifying their life. I know I went over the book Essentialist over here a couple months ago, but that's really what that talks about. That really talks about how to say no to other people, how to say no to people in your work environment, how to say no to your daily tasks that you think are so important, and really getting grounded into who you are, what's important to you, and then kind of like moving on to the next day, and then keep doing that rather than, like Luke said, all of this information, all this advice, and all this coming at you at full speed. And you're like, don't know, you're like, at the end of the day, then you don't take anything away from it. You know what I mean? But you just spent 45 minutes looking at, 17 different clips on productivity. And then you're like, whoa, now I'm like lost. It's like kind of, I don't know. It's hard because we're trying to help people while trying to help ourselves throughout this podcast. But man, it's like you really got to find your own way. And with that comes spending time with yourself in your own thoughts with minimal distractions at times, and just kind of feeling what's right, and just keep following that instinct.
And dude, that's what I really loved just when we were out in Seattle, just in those mountains. It couldn't get any more simple than that. Just all of us, just like you had no service. So like there's no choice to be on your phone. So I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah. There's just something energy out there. Like, when I take, or no, whatever, when I'm with people who hike, it's something that you can't replicate being in your, like I said, you can have a great day of productivity in your office or whatever. I like to kind of get out, maybe go to libraries, different settings, right, to stimulate my brain a little bit when I'm trying to do focus work for a long period of time. And that feels great, but there's something about spending, hours out in nature, just walking, looking at nature, thinking. You can think about whatever. I go through, my brain really thinks a lot. But man, when I'm during those moments, I feel very, very good. There's a connection. We're living, those trees, that dirt, those roots on the ground, we're all living, we're all nature, part of nature. And then you add on top of a beautiful view of a lake, a glacier lake, on the edge of a mountain. And that's where it gets pretty magical. But it's something that I always want to keep. To the day I die, I want to always be mindful of, like, am I spending time in nature? Am I seeing Earth's beauty? And obviously that's played a huge factor in where I want to live. You know what I mean? In this next chapter of my life, is that I want to be around places that value nature, that have nature. You know what I mean? I could give zero shits about living in a big city. If you told me 4 years ago, I would think that way. I would think you're crazy. I was like, of course I want to live in a big city. It's exciting. I can make more money, all this stuff. I couldn't want to live less, in a big city. So anyway, I don't know. We're kind of rambling a little bit, but just going off this, what's making you feel good. And we can end on this take home message, is that, man, if you really start to be mindful of what you're spending your time with on social media and stuff. I mean, Zach's example of Matthew Stafford talking about young NFL players, think about that population. That's the 0.1% of the population of the earth is spending ton of time on their phone. Imagine if you were, whoever you are, just more mindful of that. The mental edge you're going to create for yourself compared to your peers is going to be something like no other. And the first step is just being mindful of it, and then taking action, right? Taking a couple months off of social media, of app, and then being aware of, like, okay, well, now what am I putting my time towards? Maybe I'm reading a book. It doesn't have to be a self-help book. It can be a fiction book, whatever. But now I'm nurturing my brain with the act of reading, and I'm processing information, or I'm spending more time cooking in the kitchen because I'm not on, Instagram for 3 hours a day. I go on an extra 30 minutes of walking, right? And then in that 30 minutes, I talk to myself, or I talk to my mother, or talk to my parents. You know what I mean? It's these little things that they sound so simple and they sound so easy because they are so simple. But man, there's not a lot of people that are being aware of that right now. And so I'm challenging myself. I'm challenging you too. I'm challenging the people at home. Just be mindful of your phone use coming into this season where we're going to be way more busier with things that we have to do, right? School, work, what may have you, and just see where it takes you. But really, really, really take time and do it, right? Like, don't just do it for a couple of days and be like, okay, that was cool. No, do it for weeks, months, and then look back and journal on it. See how you feel differently. See how your life has changed. Maybe your relationships have changed. Maybe you're losing some more weight, or you're gaining weight if you want to gain weight, or you're getting better workouts, whatever it may be. I promise, those are the things that make a huge difference in your life. Like, seriously. Anything else?
I just saw a quote. I think we can end on that too. I saw a quote today. It was, if you have one good hour, it leads into a good day. One good day leads into a good week. A good week leads into a good year. A good month, a good year. Yeah, you get it. You get the trend. So
no, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Zach, you got anything?
No, I think I will actually pull up. I saw a little quote today. Daily Stoic email, actually.
Love that.
been on it, but I just don't really read it, but I've been reading it. Just about like Labor Day. It's not really a quote, just kind of don't overwork yourself. So by all means, like take your deserved break today. We are human beings after all, not human doings. Life will be long if you're lucky. If you have much great work in front of you, if you break down early, wear yourself out before your time, where will that leave you? Where will that leave us? So, you know, rest, don't beat yourself up if you do have like a slip up and things like that. Just try to be as present as you can and try to spend time doing what you want to do. And at the same time, don't be selfish to yourself and, overwork your muscles or your brain. Like take some time to some rest too.
Perfect.
I love it.
All right. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll be back. It's grind season. So yeah, we'll be checking in with each other. But all right. Thanks, guys. It was a pleasure as always. And we'll